What makes the Pro Football Hall of Fame selection process different is that this is really a year-round process. Our 44 selectors are asked to look at a list that is given to them starting right after the previous year's class is elected. So we start right after that meeting looking at a preliminary list. That list continues to grow and we continue to update it for the selectors. It usually gets up to about 130 or so nominees that we then ask our selectors to reduce by a mail ballot down to their 25 semifinalists. After we receive those votes and we tabulate that for them, we send it back and then ask them to make the difficult task of reducing from 25 down to 15. Once we have those 15, we add those names to the two previously selected senior nominees. Those two names come from a list of candidates that a sub-panel or subcommittee of our selection committee determines from those players whose careers ended 25 years ago or longer. So when we get to the Super Bowl, on the Saturday before the Super Bowl, when we have our selection process meeting, there are 17 finalists, and those 17 finalists are debated in the room, voted on, reduced first by going to the senior nominees and voting up or down on those two candidates, and then we go immediately into the process of reducing the 15 modern era down to 10, down to 5, and then up or down on those final 5. Ultimately, we'll come out with a potential class of 7, 5 modern era and 2 senior nominees. It would only be a class of 7 if both senior nominees are elected. If one of the seniors are elected, it could be 6. If neither of the seniors are selected, we can only have 5, and that would be the 5 modern era candidates. So that in a quick nutshell is how the process works. What really makes our selection process unique is that meeting that is held on the Saturday before the Super Bowl. That's where the 17 finalists, their merits are debated, and the selectors have to make those tough choices of who's going to be elected this year. I mean, it isn't like they can just say, well, let's take all 17. We limit them. They can only elect 7, and that's only if both seniors are elected. If one senior is elected, it's 6. If no senior is elected, it's 5. We can't go beyond that. So it's a very, very tough decision for our selectors. Now, over the years, I've heard a lot of speculation on what goes on in the room, and sometimes it's even comical what you hear people think goes on there. But really what it is 44 members of our selection committee who have dedicated their time, have looked at this for a year, and they're prepared. They go in and present impassioned cases, impassioned pleas for candidates that they feel strongly about. And in most instances, it's not a question of whether or not someone is a Hall of Famer. It is whether or not this is their year. After I've been in there some 20-some years or more, and I'll tell you, I still get a chill when I go in there. I have no idea what's going to happen. And when I come out, even knowing the 7 finalists when I come out, I'm still not certain who's been elected. It's a great opportunity for me. And I'll tell you what, I understand why the public wants so badly to get behind those closed doors and see what happens. It's an often asked question as to whether or not a player like Deion Sanders, who played his career, or his principal parts of his career with 2 teams, whether or not he comes into the Hall of Fame as an Atlanta Falcon or a Dallas Cowboy. Is Marshall Faulk a St. Louis Ram, or is he an Indianapolis Colt? Well, it's a really simple answer for the Hall of Fame. When someone is elected to the Hall of Fame, a player is elected to the Hall of Fame, he is elected as just that, a player, a running back, a quarterback, a defensive back, whatever he might be. We do not announce or segregate them out as a member of a specific team. Now, that's not to say that we don't keep track, because we're often asked how many Indianapolis Colts are in the Hall of Fame, how many St. Louis Rams are in the Hall of Fame. If they played a principal part of their career with a team, we'll say they are a member of the Hall of Fame and that they represent another player from the whatever XYZ team. But we do not ask them to declare a team in which they are being inducted into the Hall of Fame as a member of. They are being inducted as a player.